We must collect the index before we can activate the installation.
What's up guys, HokiBird here, bringing you the Noob's Guide to Legendary for the 7th mission in the Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary campaign, the Library. So the first thing you want to do is get the attention of these infection forms, and they'll start jumping at you. Melee them while moving backwards, and you'll destroy them pretty easily. When you move up, look to your left, shoot the carrier form with the pistol, then look straight in front of you, and there's going to be 4 more of them. Shoot them all with the pistol. When the carriers explode, they'll release 6 or so infection forms. You can either use the assault rifle, because you're going to get rid of it first thing, or you can do what I'm demonstrating here, is showing you how to kill them by just meleeing them. That's a tactic I'm going to use a lot throughout this mission, is to just back up, let them jump at me, and melee them. Once they're all dead, you can move up. Watch your motion tracker. As soon as the floods spawn, immediately move back so that they're all in front of you. And then see if you can see or hear the one with the shotgun and shoot him with the pistol. Now, take note of where that shotgun was dropped, because you do not want the carriers to explode anywhere near that shotgun, or else it'll go flying and you will most likely not find it. So that's why I moved back so far and then shot the carriers, because now I can move up and I have a shotgun. Once everything's dead, move up to where Spark is.
We are near the index chamber. Follow me.
So what I tried to do here, not entirely successfully, is to not shoot the carrier forms and just shoot the combat forms, because I want more shotgun ammo, and if I shoot the carrier forms, they'll usually blow away the shotguns. But I found myself in a situation where the pistol just wasn't dropping them fast enough, so I switched to the shotgun. Another great tactic to use that I'll use a lot is to use carriers as grenades, because they'll blow away combat forms and infection forms if they're close enough. So now I'm just mopping up the rest of the infection forms with some melee attacks. There we go, easy peasy. As you move up again, another wave will spawn. I don't think this is an infinitely respawning section, and I'm not even sure where the line is to get them to stop respawning. So I just moved back here in case there's a line back here somewhere. And of course, I try to not blow away the shotguns with either grenades or carrier forms. But I've got 32 shots, that's pretty good. And I think I'm about to get even more. So it looks like they've stopped spawning, so the only thing left to do is to mop up the infection forms and see what kind of shotgun ammo I can find. And pistol ammo, I'm running low on pistol ammo.
That's a good idea. The energy field above us contains the index. We must get up there.
So what I like to do is I move into the room and I make some noise so that whatever's in there is going to come running for me, whether it be carrier, combat, or infection. And then I'll shoot the combat forms with the shotgun and the carrier forms with the pistol. And then a good tactic to use is to move slowly and carefully. Look to your left, look to your right, make sure nothing's there to ambush you. And then you can shoot them. Okay, so for most of you, this is going to be your first problem section. So, the flood jumps down, and you shoot him, and that'll cause the other combat forms to hear you and come running. So what I like to do is just shotgun camp outside of the door. They'll come running for me, but they can't shoot me because they don't have a line of sight. And then I just shoot them as they round the corner. That's just textbook shotgun camping. And then more waves of flood are going to spawn from those tubes back there. You can hold up a position outside the doorway for a while. I believe this is infinitely respawning flood until you move past a certain point. And I think that point is somewhere in the room, like maybe under the tubes, I think. Because that's where I ended up. What you don't want to do is to try to run past them, because there's another group of flood that's going to spawn further on, and they provide enough resistance that unless you're incredibly talented, in which case why are you bothering with this guide, you're not going to be able to get past them, and then the ones behind you are going to come up and kill you. So what you want to do is keep moving up, but don't run past them, and keep fighting them until they stop spawning. And there we go. It looks like they're not spawning anymore. So now I pull out my pistol, and I look for the guy that jumps out in front with the shotgun, and I shoot him, because he's going to be the most dangerous. And then I pull up a corner, and more shotgun camping. In addition to shotgun camping, a great strategy to use is to toss a grenade as soon as you think you're getting overwhelmed, and then reload as the grenade goes off. When these carriers bunch up like this, you can pretty much blow them all away just by killing one, and they'll go flying. Just be careful that they don't fly towards you. And then as you move up, you're always going to have a combat form up there on the right, probably with an assault rifle or plasma pistol, but either way you're going to have to kill him at long range, so that's what you have the pistol for. And once again, if you don't want to take the time to melee the infection forms like this, but don't want to waste your shotgun or pistol ammo, you can pick up any of the weapons that the flood drop and use those.
The security doors have sealed automatically. I will go access the override to open them.
Waiting at these doors is kind of annoying, but fortunately this is just the first one, and you only have to wait a few seconds and nothing comes and attacks you.
Please follow closely. This portal is the first of 10. You brought such ineffective weapons to combat the flood, despite the containment protocols.
You don't want to move up too quickly or else you'll find yourself surrounded. And that's never a good thing. So, get their attention, then pull up a corner and more shotgun camping. And this is what I was talking about before. You can use like a plasma pistol or plasma rifle, or even the needler, although it's kind of slow, to kill all the infection forms. And then once you're done with them, just pick up your pistol and continue on your way. Once you move past a certain line here, Flood will spawn in front of you and behind you, so you want to move back and meet them as they come out of the tubes. So what I'm doing here is I'm getting hammered by that shotgun, so what I did was I planted a grenade. And I figured even if I couldn't kill him with the shotgun would still stun him, and then he'd be trapped on top of that grenade. That's a strategy I use a lot when trying to hold a corner. This part right here with these giant blue monitors is probably going to be another problem area, because you have infinitely respawning Flood that jump down from on top of those monitors.
You can see how the body is transformed by the genetic restructuring of the Flood infection. The small creatures carry spores that are supposed to. The Flood is virulent.
Sorry I couldn't explain that better because Spark was talking, but basically I just run past them and shoot anything that gets in my way with the shotgun, and then just hold the corner.
I have a chance.
This part's actually pretty easy. Just plant 2 plasma grenades here outside of those tubes and you'll take most of them out. And then you might have a couple stragglers. You can take care of them with the shotgun. As you can see, sometimes I get annoyed with having to constantly melee them, so sometimes I'll pick up a weapon like an assault rifle or a plasma pistol to kill the infection forms rather than melee them. There's a health pack on this corner, but there's also going to be Flood that jump up from that kind of pit thing, so just welcome them with a grenade. And then finish anything that survives the grenade with the shotgun. And then down here where the Flood jumped up from is an overshield. And now I got cut off guard because I forgot where I was, but the Flood actually spawned over there to the left, so you just want to toss a frag grenade over there and take them all out. But I didn't do that so well, so I lost most of my overshield. And then just watch your radar and don't get snuck up on by the carrier forms.
This installation's research facilities are most impressive. Perhaps you will have time to see them later.
Alright, so what I like to do is shoot out the glass panels there, because then some of the Flood will fall down there and then you don't have to fight them. And then more shotgun camping, working the corner. There's going to be carrier forms both in front of and behind you. And then anything that attacks you long range, that's why you've got the pistol. Here's a little demonstration. The Needler can also work against infection forms, but it's kind of slow. But you'll never miss, because it's got homing. That's certainly a plus. Though I must admit, the plasma rifle is a bit more effective. So here's something I do without thinking that is absolutely critical to your survival on Legendary, is that when you're taking fire from a combat form, instead of trying to run up to him, you'll find yourself full of needles by the time you get to him. So what you want to do is just hold that corner and wait for him to come to you. And here I do the exact same thing, and I barely take any fire. You do want to be careful with grenades and other explosions, because a lot of times when you kill a combat form, it'll drop a grenade, so you'll end up with a big pile of grenades that you're not aware of, and it may set off a chain reaction. So just be careful. You know, step back when you're going to throw a grenade or kill a carrier form, just in case it sets off a chain reaction. A couple of combat forms will spawn in this doorway, but a well-placed grenade will do the trick.
Your current target movement scans as a Class 2. Pardon me. A plasma conduit breach in section 5524 has disrupted power flow to a gravitic maintenance assembly.
Look to your right, and 6 carrier forms are going to jump out of this tube. 1 shotgun blast will send them flying. And then you can mop up the infection forms with melee attacks. Now this part coming up is pretty difficult if you're gonna fight it, but it's completely skippable if you just stay back away from the door. But since I don't skip anything, I fought it and I showed you that you can pass it on Legendary.
Flood activity has caused a failure in a drone control subsystem. I must reset the backup unit. Please continue on. I will rejoin you when I've completed my task.
So if you're gonna skip it, you just stay back here and the flood won't spawn. But I don't skip anything, so if you're gonna fight it, you take up a position over by the doorway and hold the corner. There's a health pack over here. You're probably gonna need it. Alright, so you need lots and lots of grenades, and then what's gonna kill you is flood vaulting over that wall and getting behind you. So use your grenades, use carrier forms as grenades. And then try not to take fire from the combat forms, but you know, it's easier said than done. And then keep using your shotgun, throw a grenade when you need to reload, and keep shooting them off that wall so that they don't surround you. And then you're done when the door's finally open. In hindsight, it's kind of stupid that I didn't pick up the health pack over there after the fight was over, but I think I was thinking that I already used it. But what you want to do is turn around pretty quickly, because Flood over here are going to absolutely massacre these sentinels if you don't help out, and then they're going to turn their attention to you and absolutely slaughter you. Unless, of course, you use the pistol and take them out from a distance before they can really do any damage. And then for the carrier forms, same thing we've been doing. Shoot them with the pistol from a distance. And there's a chain reaction I was talking about, so you want to be careful of those.
Sentinels can use their weapons to manage the flood only for a short time. Speed is of the essence.
So you want to try to grenade the flood over there with some plasma grenades. And then what I like to do is just use the pistol to try to shoot them from a distance. Especially these guys with shotguns. And then when they get too close, just switch to the shotgun. And then same thing as I've been doing to mop up infection forms. You can either melee them or pick up a plasma weapon. Just remember to grab your pistol when you're done. And here you're going to have your first encounter with Flood with rocket launchers. I tried to shoot him with the pistol, but it's pretty easy to see the rocket coming and just sidestep it. And then you can use the pistol to knock him down. And like I said before, when he gets back up, he won't have that rocket launcher. All he'll have is his melee attack, which isn't nearly as dangerous as that rocket launcher. Now here's one of my strategies for this mission, and you may feel free to disagree, but I don't touch the rocket launchers, because the only thing I think when I pick up a rocket launcher is, well, now I gotta find another pistol when it runs out of ammo. So I don't bother.
Please wait here.
This is one of the few easy doors. All that'll happen is a couple infection forms will spawn. You can either completely ignore them, or you can melee them.
Oh, hello.
This fight shouldn't pose you any problems. It's pretty much standard shotgunning Flood to death while holding a corner. Just watch out for the guy with the shotgun. So I did that rather poorly, but as long as you don't let yourself get shot by that shotgun, take him out from a distance, or have the shotgun ready instead of the pistol, you really shouldn't have a problem with that. So this is the first time you go underground in these little tunnels here. This first one, there's nothing but a couple carrier forms, so it's no more difficult than shoot them with the pistol and then dispose of the infection forms. Now this might be another problem area. Shoot the combat form that jumps down, and then Wait back here by this corner and let the flood come to you. Because you've got a lot more cover back here than you do trying to approach them. And then when all the combat forms are dead, then you can move out of the tunnel. And you want to be careful that you don't go too fast, because there's another set of big blue monitors here, and that means infinitely respawning floods. You don't want to trigger them just yet. You want to get a checkpoint before that.
Your environment suit should serve you well when the flood begins to alter the atmosphere. You are a good fan.
So just like the first time, shoot the ones in front of you as you run, and then hold this corner, and then wait for the ones behind you to come up on you. Except you gotta be careful here that you don't get the attention of the flood at the end of that hallway, because one has a shotgun and the other one has a rocket launcher. But now I'm ready to deal with them, so I get out my pistol, and there's the rocket, sidestep, and then shoot him and he falls over. Easy peasy. There's also a health pack back here on the left. In the corner. There's a rocket launcher, but I've already told you how I feel about the rocket launcher on this level. This is another pretty standard encounter, is that you're going to move up until you trigger them, and then they're going to come attack you, so you fall back to this corner, and then either take them out from the distance or wait for them to come to you and gun them down with a shotgun. And of course, you have the pistol in order to deal with the flood up there from a distance.
The installation was well conceived. It is surely the only way to end the flood threat.
Now this is infinitely respawning flood, and every single one will either have a plasma rifle or plasma pistol. They're really not that hard to move past. You just fire a couple shotgun shots, throw a grenade, set off a chain reaction, and then when you go under the tube, they'll stop spawning, and you can get a checkpoint. But then once you move out again, they'll start spawning again. So once you've had enough, you can fall back to this corner. They'll keep spawning. You can keep killing them. You don't want to go too crazy because none of them have shotguns. They've all got plasma pistols and plasma rifles. That's me getting careless. A bunch of carrier forms are going to spawn up here. I was trying to find a nice corner to not get surrounded, and I walked right into one. So now you know. Don't do that. There's going to be some combat forms that spawn here, but you can pretty much run right by them, and if you really want, shoot them with the pistol from the elevator.
I would conjecture that the other species currently on the installation is responsible for releasing the flood. They seem most persistent in their attempts to access restricted areas.
Alright. More standard long-range flood combat. A couple of them are going to have shotguns, so you can take them out close range, but most of them are just going to stand up there on that wall, so you take them out with the pistol. There's a health pack up here, too. And then you can get ammo for the pistol if you want. There's a rocket launcher over here. I really shouldn't have to say anything. Here's another one of these long tunnels, but in this one there's a bunch of combat forms at the end. And so I just take them out with a pistol. If you want to use the rocket launcher, that's fine, that'll work too. I just prefer the pistol over the rocket launcher. When you get to the end of this tunnel, you want to take things slow, because there's 2 carrier forms over here waiting to ambush you. So don't fall for the trap. Here's another wave of infinitely respawning flood. You can just run right past them, but if you go over there to what is now my left, which is the wrong way anyway, they'll just keep respawning. I stick around here and fight it out for a little bit. But if you really don't like fighting them, you can just run by them. everything I did there is pretty easily skippable if you just run by them. But you want to be careful as you come over to this doorway here. You'll see them on your motion tracker and they'll spawn behind you, so you want to immediately move backwards and then take them all out with your shotgun. There's lots and lots of carrier forms, so use that to your advantage. Use them as grenades. And then what I like to do is I like to hold this corner over here by the door, but the reason I move back first is because when the flood spawn, there's 4 combat forms over here, and all of them have plasma rifles. So that's kind of dangerous. So I draw them away from the door by holding the first corner, and then once they're away from the door, then I take up a position over here by the corner. You want to turn around as quickly as possible because the first guy out here has a rocket launcher.
Naturally, the flood is simply too dangerous to release, and their sterilization protocols may then need to be enacted. Of course, samples were taken after the last catastrophic outbreak. For example, in
Well, that was really close. Wasn't watching my motion tracker and I almost got snuck up on by a carrier form. So there's going to be another wave that spawns over here. Start with the pistol, and then when they get close, switch to the shotgun and hold the corner. If I sound like a broken record, I really should, because this is the same thing you've been doing for the entire mission. And here you're really going to appreciate having a pistol, because you can shoot the guys on top of the boxes really, really easily from medium-long range. And all you have to do is knock them over once and they'll drop their weapons. And here's a tactic I haven't had to employ much throughout this mission, but whenever your shield's down and you've got infection forms bearing down on you, just back away slowly or strafe them until your shields recharge. And if you can, pick up anything that you can kill them with. If you're really desperate, you can use the shotgun, but that's pretty much wasting your ammo. And of course, pick up your pistol before you move on. When you shoot combat forms with the pistol, they'll always get back up, so the flood on top of those boxes will always get back up, but they won't have their weapons. So you'll have to shoot them twice.
Their survival as a race was dependent upon it. I am grateful to see that some of them survived.
A lot of these guys have shotguns, so welcome them with a grenade. And then, once again, hold the corner. Let them come to you. If there's a guy over there shooting at you from long distance, just use the pistol. And here's another section of infinitely respawning flood jumping down from these blue monitors. So you just want to run by them as best you can. And then hold this corner. Except then, for this part, there's also going to be flood that jumps down from these blue monitors on my left. So you still have to keep moving up. So just have your shotgun out and shoot anything that gets in your way. And then when you make it to the end of the hallway, just turn around and shoot anything that's following you with the pistol. And then here is what I consider to be the hardest fight in the mission if you choose to fight it, because it's completely optional. You can just hide. But this section will forever be known to me as the torture chamber.
I will deactivate the security lock. Wait here.
So you don't have to fight this, you can just hide in this corner all the way back. But I don't skip anything, so I'm going to show you how you can fight this. I start with the grenade in the tubes, and I basically just hold this corner and then reload whenever possible. Whenever I feel like I'm getting overwhelmed, that's when I throw another grenade. But they just keep coming and coming and coming. There is no end to them. You want to be careful of these infection forms, because if your shields go down, they can really eat at your health. Anytime you see your shields recharging is a good sign that you're probably going to make it. And then just the same thing as before, just keep holding the corner and hold them off. And then when the doors finally open, then you're done. You'll stop respawning. And there's a health pack over here if you want it. If you didn't use it during the fight.
Please stay close. Time is short.
There's actually a surprisingly large group of Flood that come around this corner, so take them all out with 1 or 2 frag grenades. There are actually probably too many of them for you to handle with the shotgun alone. So the first thing that's going to happen when you get to this floor is a bunch of carrier forms are going to ambush you. If your health goes down, there's a health pack right there. But I didn't need it. Oh look, a hallway of huge blue monitors. I wonder what's going to happen. Yep, infinitely respawning Flood that you just have to run past. There's going to be a couple that spawn in front of you, but actually not that many. Fortunately, that's a relatively short hallway, so they're really easy to run past. And then you go down in this tunnel. There's a bunch of carrier forms down here. But they really shouldn't be a problem. Just shoot him with your pistol. and then dispose of the infection forms with melee attacks.
Oh, hello.
And then when you come out of the tunnel here, you actually enter into a room identical to what I called the torture chamber earlier. But it isn't nearly as difficult because the Flood don't spawn nearly as fast. They only spawn like 1 or 2 at a time. But just like in the torture chamber, just hold this corner. Trying to fight from the center of the room is suicide because they'll all have a line of sight of you and they can easily surround you. And then you can move on when the doors open. For this hallway, watch your motion tracker. There's an invisible line right near this arrow somewhere. As soon as you see the red dots, move backwards, and they're all carrier forms. So just shoot them with the pistol. A similar thing is going to happen on the next corner, except now combat forms enter the fray, and I was a little careless and I moved up too far.
The flock are already hard at repairing your vessel.
So you see, I almost got killed by a shotgun there. But I was able to save myself by using those carrier forms as makeshift grenades. And now here's probably the biggest error in this remake of Halo. Whoops, there's no wall here. In fact, there's a rocket launcher and a health pack back here. And if you want, you can take some time in there and see what the rest of the library looks like. I'm not really going to take the time to show that. But here comes the final fight. So when this door opens, 4 combat forms are going to jump out. I used the shotgun. Turns out that was a little riskier than I thought because this one has a shotgun. But then when the doors open all the way, grenades and then fall back to this corner because there's a lot of combat forms and they'll simply overwhelm you if you try to stay out in the open. More holding the corner. And then there's going to be Flood on these walls over here. Use the pistol. You should have already known that before I even said it. And then, of course, this is another section of infinitely respawning flood. But there's an easy way and a hard way. The hard way is going to be to try to fight your way through the waves of infinitely respawning flood. The easy way is going to be to come over here and take the long way around. But you avoid the infinitely respawning waves of flood. So just finish them off, and then you're done. Enjoy your nice little stroll over here. Congratulate yourself on a job well done, and then step onto the platform to end the mission.
The energy barrier surrounding the index will deactivate when we reach the ground floor. You may now retrieve the index. Protocol requires that I take possession of the index for transport. Your organic form renders you vulnerable to infection. The index must not fall into the hands of the flood before we reach the control room and activate the installation. The flood is spreading. We must hurry.